Resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And we are live from the KDAWN studios. Of course, also streaming out there on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you haven't downloaded it, well, you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Because you should be listening to all of our shows wherever you are. So download that app right now, please. We would certainly appreciate it. Don't miss a thing. It's pretty cool. Of course, we're also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Of course, the Mark Hoke Show on Facebook and YouTube, and at Mark Hoke Show on X. If you would like to join us and interact with the show, we'd love to hear your comments in what ended up being another wild week in professional wrestling. It has been just nonstop action from start to finish, from Sunday to Monday, or Sunday to Sunday. And I'll tell you what, it's not going anywhere. This has been just the lead up to SummerSlam. A lot of AEW news and great matches going on in there. Some wild goings on, even with Ring of Honor. I had Death Before Dishonor this week, Battle of the Belts. We have contracts and people moving around and all sorts of wild stuff happening. And we're going to get into it with you all through the show for the next 2 hours. Hour number 2, we're going to have Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report joining us. Of course, he does those unbelievable summaries. He and Eric Beeston, just unbelievable what they do over there at BR. And we're going to be very excited to have him on the show. And we're very happy to have you joining us on the live stream wherever you are. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? Because there's a little bit of controversy around the AEW TV deals. If you haven't heard about this, supposedly an agreement had been reached in principle between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery to get everything rolling. No ink on the paper yet, but Tony Khan is insisting that WWE PR is leaking things, that it's not a done deal yet. They're still working on it. So back off. That was what he said at the presser before Death Before Dishonor. But from what we do know, and this is, I think, really great news for everybody, that it does look like they are going to be getting Max involved in this. So HBO Max would be involved in this AEW TV deal. And from what we're hearing, Tony's going to make a lot of money. And that should definitely put AEW in a much better position in the future and, secure them for a long time. Of course, a lot of people out there, there's, I don't know why people want AEW to fail, but apparently some of them do. And, well, I got some bad news for you. This deal is going to be going through fairly soon. And if that gets on Max, that is, to me, the big piece of this puzzle for AEW, because right now they don't really have any place to put their content. So all of the AEW content for 5 years now would go up on Max. Plus, you'd be doing the pay-per-views on Max. So all everybody has to do is get a Max subscription, just like WWE is doing with Peacock. So it saves everybody a lot of money, and you don't get intimidated by spending the $50 or $60. So they're going to do bigger numbers. They're going to get more viewers. Plus, it's going to give Ring of Honor a home too, even though Tony was actually talking about the possibility that ROH could get its own show. They're working on that. And that would be nice. I know that Kerry Silken, who had formerly been running Ring of Honor, was very critical about how ROH has been handled, and rightfully so. I think a lot of people are a little bit disappointed that while ROH has been up on Honor Club and so on, that people would like it to be more accessible, and it's just kind of felt like an appendage to AEW. And Tony even mentioned that, he'd like to rebrand it AEW Ring of Honor, pull it under the family. And, I think you put it's not really going to be totally like an NXT where it's completely developmental, but I think it would be a great place to start. And when you have a huge roster like AEW does, and supposedly they're spending like $4 million a week, you got to give them something to do. And you're seeing some terrific wrestling going on like we did at Death Before Dishonor. So giving Ring of Honor a home, for those of us that really did love Ring of Honor, I think would be terrific. It's not quite the same, but still you've got a lot of ROH alumni there that you can flash them in and out and do some neat things like they did at Battle of the Belts on Saturday night, where we saw some new champions finally crowned. Nobody ever wins a belt at Battle of the Belts. Titles never change hands there. It's so weird. But finally one did. And by the way, Coach Rosie in the chat box saying good morning, Hokeites. Good to see you, Coach Rosie. But this is a very interesting situation for AEW. So we're going to keep an eye on it, of course, and keep fingers crossed that that deal's going to get announced soon. And boy, would that be great if they got it done before All In at the end of August. And we could pop All In on Max. Cross the fingers. But there was a lot that happened this week in AEW, and I kind of want to get through that before we get into SummerSlam, as obviously SummerSlam coming up on Saturday. So we'll be bracing ourselves for the biggest party of the summer. And actually got a question in the chat box. I'll get this real quick. Jesse Hyde in the chat box saying, do you think the New Japan Stardom will regret their partnership with AEW now that WWE's Japan return is a success, with the news of Meiko Satomura retirement and a possible PLE in the Tokyo Dome? No. We talked about that a little bit, the New Japan situation with AEW and how their talent seemed to be getting rated. And, I think TNA is in a similar spot with WWE. But no, I don't think so. I think that with this new TV deal, they're going to be okay. They'll be all right. Look, everybody can work with everybody at this point. All bets are off. So we'll see how all of it turns out. But I think it is. But that is an interesting point to see where all that's going to end up. But we go to first on Wednesday, Blood and Guts. For those that don't know what Blood and Guts is, no, there's no greasy, grimy gopher guts or mutilated monkey meat. But some people did get mutilated, that is for sure. Oh, poor Max Caster. Oh, thumbtacks in the mouth and got super kicked. Ouch. And a lot of other nasty things happening to everybody. But the Blood and Guts match featuring Team AEW against the Team Elite goes to Team AEW in a very interesting finish. And I don't know how to feel about this. The Blood and Guts match, it's in 2K. You have two rings set up with the cage around it. So this is, kind of reminds you of the old War Games match if you've never seen the Blood and Guts match before. Two people start, one person from one team goes in, and you alternate. Even though Hangman Adam Page decided when it was his turn to go in, and last he waited until he could beat up Swerve Strickland, who was the last guy in from Team AEW. That started a little fracas outside the ring, as Swerve got handcuffed outside the ring by Hangman Adam Page. Those handcuffs came in handy. The Elite brought those in along with staple guns, and oh my God. Yeah, Swerve apparently doesn't get bothered by staple guns. I can't describe it on the air. It's too much. You just need to go back and watch the match. But the end of the match, the scapegoat Jack Perry gets handcuffed to a wall of one of the sides of the cage. Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks is also handcuffed to a rope. And they are beating the living snot out of Jack Perry with kendo sticks, etc. And Jack is refusing to quit, being the tough guy that he is. Well, Darby Allin, in a throwback to Double or Nothing, goes and gets a can of gasoline and dumps it all over him. Has a lighter and tells Matt Jackson, you either quit and give me a match with Jack Perry at All In for the TNT title, or it is scapegoat flambe. And Matt Jackson surrendered. So, a pretty wild and brutal affair. Coach Rosie in chat says it was graphic. Yes, it was. Folks, this is either your kind of match where you like to see a lot of nasty stuff happen to people's bodies, or you don't. But that's the blood and guts match. The interesting part to me about blood and guts at this point is getting old. Is it getting old? Yeah, and Jesse, the chair shot too. Yeah, Jack Perry did take an unexposed chair shot while he was handcuffed to the cage, to the melon. They usually don't do that anymore. But is the blood and guts match kind of getting a little passe? You know, this is an every year tradition for them. But how much more can you do? And this is something that we've talked about on the show before, that when you have matches like these, you have to do different things to make the next version of it bigger and badder. Where are you going to go? Man, I mean, guys getting sandwiched between two boards of barbed wire and, the kendo sticks, and Swerve Strickland getting attacked with staple guns and holding, and then just like shaking it off. And I mean, just some brutal, brutal spots in this match. I don't know what more you're going to do, because now you threaten to set a guy on fire. And of course, Double or Nothing, they did set Jack Perry on fire in the Anarchy in the Arena match. Now, they set that up really well, did the spot safely, but still, you're lighting a dude on fire. I don't quite know how everybody's going to top that next year. So it's a pretty difficult spot. I don't know. I mean, there were good spots and fun spots in there, but there were also spots that it makes you cringe. And, I don't know where they're going to take it, but that was blood and guts. And that night also, Camille makes her debut. Of course, the former NWA Women's Champion is now the bodyguard, friend, pal of Mercedes Moné, and she knocked Britt Baker out. And then at Comic-Con, they finally got their match settled, so they're going to officially meet for the TBS title at All In. So that was that one. So a pretty interesting night. Of course, MJF changed the international title to the American title. A little bit of a response to Will Ospreay doing that to the United States, the Japan and New Japan US title, and when he changed it to the UK title. Will can't say a whole lot about that, can he? USA, baby. So that feud rolls on. I'm still not sure who's going to be in the taking MJF on for the whatever I'm sure it's still the international title, but is it going to be Daniel Garcia? Is it going to be Will Ospreay? We'll find out. Coming up about a month. I think we're a month away from AEW All In Wembley Stadium, so that's going to be some quality entertainment. Then we had Death Before. Actually, well, as a tape show, but Darby Allin wins a spot for or a championship match at Grand Slam on September 25th at Arthur Ashe Stadium as he wins the Royal Rampage. And he gets a little bit of a revenge on Brody King from that choke out for a while back. I do love when they do throwbacks. That's one great thing about Tony Khan and his booking. You can criticize it all you want, but he remembers things that he did before. Guys get their revenge. And that's pretty cool. But now Darby Allin's got a world title shot along with this TNT title shot. So Darby's going to be a busy boy. As long as he doesn't, turn himself into the Human Torch or something stupid like that or break something. But a big week for Darby Allin, that is for sure. And then we had Death Before Dishonor on Friday. A wild night there for Ring of Honor, which I think has really kicked up the talk about what AEW should be doing with Ring of Honor. Very, very good card. A lot of people enjoyed it. The M&M collection makes their pay-per-view debut for AEW. Of course, that is Mason Madden and Mansoor. Of course, remember those Maximum Male Models boys? That's them. They wrestle pretty well. Rhea Shafir, a nice match. Top Flight beat the Outrunners. No big deal there. Mortis beat Commander. The Beast Mortis. That dude's a monster. They lost a hologram on Collision, but still. Undisputed Kingdom keeps their tag titles. Layla Hirsch and Diamante. Yikes. Texas Death Match. That one got a little nasty. Those two decided to tear each other apart. Lee Moriarty wins the ROH Pure Championship, taking out Wheeler Yuta. So Lee Moriarty is your new ROH Pure Champion. Red Velvet wins the ROH Women's TV Championship. She beats Billy Starks, who had never defended the title, by the way. That's pretty interesting. But Red Velvet gets a taste of gold in AEW. Levon Eriks and Dustin Rhodes beat the Dark Order. They won a title shot at the vacant six-man titles. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Lannis Jr. holds off Leo Rush, Shane Taylor, Brian Cage, Lee Johnson, and Johnny TV. In a survival of the fittest match, keeps his ROH TV title. Athena beats Queen Aminata to hold on to the ROH Women's Championship. And Mark Briscoe in a rough match with Roderick Strong, but a great one, keeps the ROH World Championship. And they add Little J, the baby. Yes, it was a baby. Back in the locker room, is now a part of the conglomeration. But Mark Briscoe remains the Ring of Honor World Champion. But a great card. Didn't hear a bad thing about it for sure. But a terrific night for Ring of Honor. So good one there. And of course, now we mentioned that Von Erich and Rhodes situation where they were getting to wrestle for the six-man titles. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. If that doesn't tug at your heartstrings of what happened there, I don't know where you are as a pro wrestling fan, but we'll talk about it when we return here on the Mark Hoke Show. That's in pro wrestling news and entertainment. And don't forget Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report coming up hour 2. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits. As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Understanding the many things in a mother's life affecting her pregnancy is important. You can help improve the health of all mothers and babies in Nevada by completing a Pregnancy Risk Assessment Monitoring System survey about your recent pregnancy. Also known as PRAMS, the survey is from the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The survey asks new moms about their experience before, during, and after pregnancy. Responses are confidential and used to help improve the health of mothers and babies in Nevada. If you receive a PRAMS survey, please share your story. Learn more at nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. That's nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. This message, sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's keep things rolling here on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Thank you for joining us wherever you are on KDAWN, the Odyssey app, or in the chat box as we live stream the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We certainly do appreciate all of you tuning into the show, and of course would really appreciate it if you could take a second and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just go to the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube. Just click on that little subscribe button. Just says subscribe, and boop, and you bring joy and happiness to the Hoke household. So you want to do that, right? It's Sunday. It's a happy day. It's a little hazy out in Las Vegas. Of course, if you didn't hear, some moron out in California thought it'd be fun to push a car down the side of a hill and 60-foot drop and lit part of California on fire, and apparently the smoke's coming into here. So thanks, dullard. But yeah, it's been out here, but it's still a happy place. You can still have fun. Come on down. So Battle of the Belts last night, we got to see an actual title change hands. There was a battle for belts that a belt moved. I think it's only the second or third time that it's happened on the Battle of the Belts show. But what a great night that was, as Dustin Rhodes and Marshall and Ross Von Erich win the vacant six-man championships as they beat the Undisputed Kingdom. And of course, they are down there in Arlington right now at that esports arena for a few weeks before they head over to All In. So the boys got to do it in Texas. And if you didn't know, we had Kevin Von Erich on the show a couple months ago. They had all moved back to Texas. So everybody's getting kind of settled in over there. The Von Erichs, I'm guessing now they have, well, maybe they've signed with AEW. Not sure what their deal is for sure. But Dustin, 55 years old, gets his first title in AEW. And does it with the Von Erichs. And if you got the match and the post-match comments that everybody made, as someone who has been a very long time wrestling fan, to see the Rhodes and the Von Erichs together, and of course Kevin was on the outside with the boys. What a great moment. For everybody that complains about Tony's booking, and there are some rightful complaints, to put that together and say, let's do this. What a cool moment. What a cool moment. And Dustin has been working so hard and just pushing and pushing and pushing his body to the limit, and just keeps going. I mean, he is wrestling like he's 35. And then to do this with the Von Erichs, who have made it a point, and they said this after the match, that they want to continue Kevin, their father, and their uncle's legacy. All of them. What a great thing for them to do in Ring of Honor and AEW. Couldn't be happy for him. Super happy for Dustin. And like I said, if you don't feel like that is just an amazing, awesome thing for pro wrestling, you have no heart, and you should be, I don't know. Go watch the Olympics opening ceremony again, if you can find it. But what a great night. So congratulations to Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, the new Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. Long may they reign. There you go. Oh, what a see. Jesse, I had another comment in the chat box before I move on to SummerSlam. What do you think of the WBD lawsuit against the NBA to keep the NBA on TNT? And how does that affect AEW to stay on TV and get free agents like Beth, Lashley, MVP, and maybe Becky, but maybe not Becky? We're going to be talking about those free agents in the last segment. But that lawsuit is very interesting. Do I really think it's going to affect AEW that much? No. David Laszlo, I don't know what that guy's doing, because that is a tremendous mistake for them not to get that deal done with the NBA and just have that settled before it could go to Amazon. I mean, what a dumb move. But I don't think that really, I mean, it could actually help AEW to a point, because if they're losing the NBA, they want live sports. So could be a plus for Tony, actually, but we'll see. On to SummerSlam. 2 new matches are on the cards, kids. Or so we're on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN. Braun Breaker will get another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. He will square off with Sami Zayn on Saturday night out there at the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Isn't that interesting that they're going to be doing it in the dog pound? Have a feeling that Sami will not be evading the power of Braun Breaker this time. Looking forward, I think, to a new Intercontinental Champion, but should be a lot of fun. The interesting part on Sami's side is that he has just been lamenting that nobody gives him the respect, that he's all tired of being considered the underdog. Why? Well, look at Braun Breaker. Well, of course, look at Gunther. It would be, shall we say, a shocker if Braun does not win this match. I think it's time for the coronation. WWE could pull a curveball, though. Maybe somebody doesn't want Braun to win that Intercontinental title. I don't know who that person might be, but Ilya Dragunov sure can't be happy after the beating he took about a week ago. So we'll keep an eye on Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. That one's added. But this one that is added in as well, it's time. It is time. and I hope my friend Bruce Bruffer does not sue me for copyright infringement on that. Punk and McIntyre with Rollins as the guest referee. Punk has been cleared, so Punk and McIntyre will face off at SummerSlam. The question is, when it comes to this match, is this the main event? These guys in the chat box, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I'm going to ask Doc-Mueller this one. Is this the main event of SummerSlam? You have world championship matches, and I'm sure you're going to get a tag team title match now with what happened on SmackDown. But is this truly the match that should go on last at SummerSlam? I think so. I think so. That's one of the great things about WWE right now is that you have so much great talent and they're doing a terrific job booking in this company that it's hard to really decide what a main event is. It normally should be a world championship. You got Cody defending against Solo Sikoa with a bloodline thing going on. Right? I mean, you could make an argument that the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan match is a true main event. But given what these two have been doing to each other and that they have completely overshadowed Cody Rhodes right now, I hate to say it, but they have. I think this is the main event of SummerSlam. I could be wrong. I'm not the first time, but this match is going to be very intriguing. I'm sure it won't be the last, but these two guys just keep going and going. And of course, very interesting that Drew put up a picture of him and Jack Perry on Twitter and then pulled it down real quick. They coordinated that, but still pretty funny stuff. But as long as Punk doesn't break, that one is going to be off the charts. The crowd is going to be going nuts. Drew might get booed out of the building. I don't know. We'll see how many Punkamaniacs are out there. But that is going to be a wild one coming up at SummerSlam. But yeah, so if you think that's the main event or if you think it's not, let me know. I said, we'll talk to Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report in hour number 2 about that. And of course, other great matches coming up on SummerSlam. And pulling my list here real quick just to remind myself. There's a list. Damian Priest defending against Gunther. What happened to this? This match has disappeared to a point. I mean, they're brawling out. They're doing their thing. But nobody's talking about it. No one's talking about a world championship match. Bayley and Nia Jax, she had a tag match on SmackDown this week involving her and reaching Tiffany Stratton. But Bayley gets Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, like we said, that one's going to be. Is it a Dom on a pole match? Well, Dom said he hates Liv. Poor Liv. But I gotta give Liv credit. Boy, did she look great. Yeah. Yep. But Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Liv defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship. Obviously a bloodline battle there. But I still think it's overshadowed by Drew and Punk. But Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa on the card. Logan Paul and LA Knight for the U.S. Championship. And then we have that Intercontinental title match as well. And I think, once again, I talked about this last week, but this is a big match for LA Knight. Boy, I hope he doesn't lose this match. This would be a tough loss for LA Knight. Unless they do something that they want to drag this out a little bit more. But this should be a championship night for LA Knight. I think that they've just put him in such a weird place, And without giving him some sort of gold, it would hurt him too bad. Looks like Alexis White's in the chat box says, does Roman return at SummerSlam? Oh, there's a debate going on about that. I think he does. But I did see Eric Bischoff out there saying, nope, hold him back. I see both sides of the argument. I really do. You just keep dragging this out. But that's one thing that I think is hurting Cody at this point, is when you have this Roman Reigns and The Rock kind of hanging over Cody, it is really putting Cody kind of off to the side a little bit, because when you're talking about the bloodline, you're not talking about Cody versus the bloodline. Everybody's talking about, when's Roman coming back? When's Roman going to beat up Solo? No one's worried about what's going on with Cody. So I think I would pull the trigger. I would, just to get that out of the way and clear the board for Cody a little bit. Because this has been putting him down, and I don't know. It's a tough spot for Cody Rhodes. Tough spot. So at SummerSlam Saturday night should be great. And then we're going to get to talk about it here on the show on Sunday next week, which is actually our anniversary show. 3 years doing this show. Of course, I've been did my poker show for a very long time too, but it'll be our 3-year anniversary show. So we hope you'll join us for that. And we'll be talking SummerSlam, and we'll see who all we can dig up to come on the show. But by the way, I just saw a comment from Coach Rosie talking about the blood and guts match, saying monkey meat. Funny. But anyway, stick around, everybody. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we have that question in the chat box about contracts. Funny you should mention that, because that was on my radar today. A lot of people could be moving around and making some big impacts in different companies. Stick around. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. And don't forget, Doc-Mueller coming up from Bleacher Report. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. Put your family first and get healthy water today with LifeSource. As a mom and new grandmother, it gives me comfort knowing my family has clean, safe water from every tap. Bath time is especially enjoyable knowing that my grandson is not sitting in a tub of skin-irritating chlorine. Call now and receive free basic installation at 800-WATER-99 or visit us at lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource. Taste and feel the difference.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details, subject to change.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And let's keep this going. I'll tell you, what a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. And we've got it all covered for you here on The Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Streaming around the world on the Odyssey app. Download it right now, AUDACY. Enjoy my show. Shows like Sports X Radio, which I produce, Steve Sanchez show, and many others on that Odyssey app. And, of course, we're also live streaming the show as well. We love to hear from you about what you think about what's happening in pro wrestling. We love interacting with the show. It's great when we get questions. Always fun to respond to the fans. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and, of course, give us the follows there on X, Facebook. I'm also out there on Instagram, TikTok. I'm still working on kind of getting all of it together. I'm a one-man operation right now, so keep them pretty busy. But we had one person in the chat box bring up some contracts, and there is a lot of interesting happenings going on the contract side. Buddy Matthews re-signs with AEW, and he was about ready to walk. But apparently Tony made him an offer he could not refuse, and he is staying with AEW. That contract for Buddy was supposedly, well, they said it was pretty big. He was very happy. Very lucrative was the quote. So Buddy Matthews is going to stay, of course, a member of the House of Black. And I do think a ton of potential for him. So I'm pretty excited for him to stay, even though that does keep him away from his beloved bride, Rhea Ripley. But Buddy Matthews hanging around. Keith Lee, his contract is coming up with AEW. What does Keith Lee do? Because, boy, I'll tell you, they sure haven't used him very much. And I would imagine WWE would love to have him back. But I almost wonder, that would almost have been a slam dunk to me if it wasn't for the fact that there's a couple guys out there in WWE that may be looking to go to AEW, and those people are Bobby Lashley and MVP. Because apparently they want to reform the Hurt Business. Shelton Benjamin is very interested in signing with AEW, and they want to, as best they can, put that back together. Would you enjoy a Hurt Business, a new one, with Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Keith Lee? Just an idea. But I could imagine, and of course, Keith's been hurt too. He's had a shocking amount of injury problems, but hopefully Keith's doing well. But I would welcome that stable. My God, could you imagine Bobby Lashley and Keith Lee working together? Oh! But apparently Triple H not willing to make a comment about it. But I wouldn't blame Bobby for leaving. I mean, that poor guy has just not gotten, I think, the treatment that he's deserved recently. Now, in the past, of course, been a world champion. But it just seems like at times he's gotten shoved aside. And I think Lashley deserves better than that. And, the Hurt Business being broken up was a bad decision. Said that the minute it happened. So putting that back together, I think would be a great idea. Also, off the WWE roster page is Beth Phoenix. Of course, the wife of Adam Copeland. She's still on the WWE Hall of Fame page, but Beth Phoenix' contract is out, which means she is now available to go to AEW. Boy, would that spice up the AEW women's division even more than it is. And get a great veteran presence in there, too. I really thought Natty, I understand why she didn't go, but I would have loved to see Natty headed over to AEW. But Beth Phoenix popping up in there? Yeah, that'd be all right. I'll take it. Can't imagine she wouldn't want to work with her husband. So Beth Phoenix is a free agent right now. We'll see what she does. Tamina, of course, the daughter of Jimmy Superfly Snuka, is apparently off the WWE internal roster. Does Tamina head over to AEW? I think another person that has been criminally underused in WWE. I don't know what everybody's problem with Tamina is. I'm not there. Don't know. But Tamina waiting for her contract to run out apparently, but it looks like WWE is not going to be bringing her back. That would be a terrific legacy sign for Tony Khan as well. I would not object to having her come over to AEW. And another very interesting story also coming out of WWE, that Omos. There is a story that I read on Cultaholic, and I have to see who actually, if they did it or somebody else put that out. But the storyline said that WWE gives up on Omos. He has not had a televised match, a singles match, since he lost to Seth Rollins at Backlash in May of 2023. Omos, the Nigerian giant, the one that got a WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar in LA, WrestleMania 39, has not been on TV in a singles match since 2023 of May. That's incredible. And that is a really sad thing to me because while I and then we talk about people getting developed on the show a lot and, being careful with somebody like a Jade Cargill, for example. But when you have someone the size of an Omos, it's very tricky to get it right. And how many times have we seen these giant men be brought in and they just can't get it done? So, I don't think that's the case with him. I think that they just rushed it. I think they pushed him too fast. He needed some time. They should have let him go in NXT, work with him more before they pushed him up on the main roster. And he did generally what they asked him to do, but you could just tell it wasn't there. But he was improving. But they had just relegated him to house shows. He had been out on the house show tour, wrestling Odyssey Jones and Tozawa. Boy, what a shame that is. Because what a dominant man. But it's hard to book a guy like that too. You got to have a realistic matchup for the guy. So you've really got to be putting him in with some pretty good guys. So he's got to be able to go. So pretty disappointing result for Omos. Now, maybe AEW decides to try to work with him. How about him and Satnam Singh? It wouldn't be the most agile tag team of all time, but they'd be fun. Good luck. But it is very hit or miss with those big men. So I just don't know what they're going to do. We'll see what WWE decides to do with Omos. And also before we head out, Meiko Satomura, the Japanese legend, has announced her retirement, and she has been out there on this WWE tour of Japan that they're doing. Teaming with Bayley, and I believe that she did get a shot at Bayley's Women's Championship last night. Obviously did not win, but she'll be wrapping up her 30-plus year career in the spring of 2025, so right around WrestleMania time. Amazing woman. So there you go. That's all your contract stuff. Hope I covered all that for you. Hey, guess what? When we come back, hour number 2, I can't wait. Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report is going to be joining us. Awesome, dude. Great writer. Thrilled to have him on the show. So stick around for hour 2. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show, markhokeshow.com. We're everywhere, baby. So catch us hour 2 and give us that subscribe on YouTube. We'd appreciate it. We'll be back. Hour 2 coming up.
Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today, because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone, because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hey there, I'm Healthy Hank, your health hero, here to give you little habits for healthy travel. Picture this. You're on a road trip making a quick pit stop at the gas station. Before you dive into those irresistible gas station snacks, remember to wash your hands after using the pump. Those pumps can be a breeding ground for germs. Together, we can ensure a safe and healthy journey for everyone. Stay safe, and let's conquer those germs together. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
This message is sponsored by Adult Protective Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station. Unseen, unreported, and ignored, the abuse of vulnerable adults affects more people than you realize. Abandonment, abuse, neglect, exploitation, isolation. What you don't see hurts more. What they experience hurts every day. What they need is a voice. What they need is you. Help stop the abuse of vulnerable adults. Visit nevada211.org/APS or call 888-729-0571. This PSA is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $2,168,764 with 100% funding by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the author and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app, and never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
Middle East tensions rising. I'm Jack Callahan. This is Fox News. Israeli authorities say a rocket attack from Lebanon struck a soccer field in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, killing 12 children, wounding 20 others. The Israeli military says it was the deadliest attack on civilians since the October 7th terror raids by Hamas. Fox's Trey Yinks reports from Majdal Shams in Israel.
Some of the artillery activity along the border between northern Israel and southern Lebanon, along with some of the airstrikes that continue to take place even at this hour. This is not even the initial response by the Israelis against Hezbollah. This is simply the ongoing, really, back and forth that we have seen along the border here over the past 10 months. There will be a significant response, a direct response to the attack that killed these 12 innocent people. And we do expect that to happen following the cabinet meeting, likely in the nighttime hours, with Israeli jets in the skies of Lebanon.
Israeli officials also confirming the rocket used in the attack on the Golan Heights was Iranian-made. Saturday's attack and today's counterstrike come at a sensitive time as negotiations for a ceasefire and hostage swap deal were set to resume this week in Rome. The White House reacting to the situation.
We just received this statement from the White House about the Hezbollah rocket attack into northern Israel. It reads, quote, "We condemn this horrific attack that reportedly killed a number of teenagers and children playing soccer on a Saturday evening in the village of Majdal Shams in northern Israel. Our hearts go out to the families of those who lost loved ones today, and we are praying for a speedy recovery for those who have been injured. Our support for Israel's security is ironclad and unwavering against all Iranian-backed terrorist groups, including Lebanese Hezbollah."
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. President Biden will return to the White House from Camp David later today. America is listening to Fox News.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
It's time to take the quiz. 5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
History, pop culture, science, sports, civics. How much do you know? Let's find out.
Who was the first person to walk on the moon?
Jackson or something?
Neil Armstrong.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course, listen to the quiz right now at thequiz.fox.
For the best in sports talk on both the local and national scenes, join Ken Thompson for SportsX Radio Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. right here on 101.5 FM KDAWN and streaming live on the Odyssey app. AUDACY. Download our free app now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get down to it. Hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, streaming on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Download it now, or you're going to get a really bad case of foot fungus. I'm serious. But now get that app. We'd certainly appreciate that. And of course, we also are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just go to the Mark Hoke Show on YouTube and also on Facebook. And then X is at Mark Hoke Show. And you can join in, chat with us, say hi, give us your thoughts, ask us your questions. We would certainly welcome all that as we talk about everything happening in pro wrestling from around the world. It has been an unbelievable week, and we are getting ready for SummerSlam on Saturday. Should be a wild, wild day in Cleveland. I know those words don't usually go together, but that's okay. We're going to have some fun in Cleveland. But to talk about that, plus all the incredible happenings in AEW and from around the wrestling world, one of my favorite guys I'll tell you what, Dan is one of the best players. Using summaries of everything going on in pro wrestling. Let's get him on here right now. Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report. Doc, what's up?
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Good to talk to you again, my friend. How you been?
Hanging in there, not too bad.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to bring the mood down, but no, I'm kidding. Everything's been great.
Fantastic. And of course, it was funny because I'm getting ready for the show today, and I'm just going through the summaries that you guys do on Bleacher Report. And I'm like, oh, I'm reading Doc's stuff. This is great. I love it. That always makes me laugh, and especially when you're coming on the show and I'm reading what you said already. So I generally know the answer to some of the questions. But anyway, it's kind of fun. It's fun. So you guys make sure you check out Bleacher Report. Like I said, if you happen to miss a TV show or something like that, Doc summaries of these shows are outstanding, and I agree with him about 95% of the time. So terrific work he does.
Thankfully, I don't have to do every show. We do have a couple other guys, Eric and Kevin, who cover some of the shows, but I probably do like 50% of what's on every week at least.
Yeah, and Eric does a great job too. I got to get Eric and Kevin. We should have all three of you on at the same time sometime. That'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll have to work that out. Well, SummerSlam's coming up. I want to start there before we dive into all this crazy happenings with AEW. And I'm going to hit you with the question that I've been teasing from the last hour. What is the main event of SummerSlam? If you were putting on this card and picking the last match, what would it be? Yeah, see? Isn't that fun? Because this should be an easy question, and it's not.
So, in my opinion, when it comes to the bigger pay-per-views like this, I think the main event has to be one of the world titles, either men's or women's. Right now, the matches that we have for those titles are Damian and Gunther, Bayley and Nia, Liv and Rhea, and Cody and Solo. I'm assuming, based on WWE's love of the Bloodline story, it's going to be Cody and Solo. If I was booking the show, it would be Damian and Gunther.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think Damian and Gunther is going to be just such a hard-hitting, great match. And Cody and Solo will be too, but it's going to be the same thing we're always used to. It's going to be a bunch of interference and it'll be a repeat of something we've seen 20 times, I'm sure. Damian and Gunther is a fresh match, and Gunther is getting a lot of heat with this heel run he's on right now, and Damian is really coming into his own as the champion. I think the last couple of weeks have been stronger for him than after he initially won the title. So yeah, I would put that match at the end, but it'll likely be Cody and Solo. But, knowing WWE, every once in a while they put a non-title match in the main event, and with Punk and Drew being the hottest story in WWE right now, that's like a third option that could potentially be there.
See, I don't, depending on what they have planned for maybe, the Cody Solo match, I would go with Punk and McIntyre at the end. I just think that match is so hot right now that people are going to be going crazy. And I don't know. I mean, where would you put that on the card? That's the tricky part. It doesn't seem like that would be, you could kick off the card with that, but that with all the other world championship matches, it seems like that's a little out of place.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where it would truly fit except at the end.
Like, lining up a pay-per-view card is one of those things that I'm never envious of the promoters who have to do it, because it is a difficult thing to do. Like, when you have 4 world title matches, you need to space them out, but you also don't want to make any of them feel less important than the others, right? So yeah, I don't know, with Punk and Drew, I feel like maybe the second match on the card would be a good spot for them. Like, open it up with Liv and Rhea, which is also like kind of a hot feud right now. And Liv and Rhea will get the crowd going, and then Punk and Drew will take them to the next level.
Yeah, this is going to be just the match order is intriguing enough on this card, much less anything else that's going to be happening. And then we had a question in the chat box too. Does Roman finally come back at SummerSlam? Do you think that this is the time?
I think it could be, but it all depends on how many other, like, quote unquote surprises WWE is going to throw on the show. I feel like it's a lock for Survivor Series to have, you know, OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline, or, you know, OG Bloodline plus Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, or whatever weird conglomeration of people they want to put together for that side. But I do think a Survivor Series elimination match is probably in their future, and bringing Roman back now gives them plenty of time to build up for that. So I do think it would be a really good place for them to bring Roman in.
And I'm curious to get your thoughts about, with Roman and The Rock looming out there, do you feel like that's hurt Cody? We've been talking about it a little bit. Has it kind of pushed Cody's title reign down just a little bit, knowing that Roman is sitting out there and this whole bloodline thing is going to explode, and then The Rock's hanging around out there too, and people are probably thinking, well, you know, Rock and Roman should face off at WrestleMania. Where does that leave Cody? But you know, The Rock had teased he was going to take on Cody, and that apparently had been the plan. Is all this starting to really hurt Cody Rhodes?
I don't think it's starting to hurt Cody in terms of like his character or popularity or anything, but I definitely think that his title reign has been too much about the bloodline. Like, I want to see Cody feud with other people, and like, we know we're going to get a Cody Rhodes Randy Orton match eventually. They have to. And I mean, how many times has Randy turned on somebody and turned heel? You know, like,
yeah,
it's his thing. Like, him and Big Show, they're the two guys that keep turning. So I think what Cody needs more than anything is maybe a little bit of time away from the bloodline, and Roman coming back could give that to him, because then it would be Roman and Solo feuding for the tribal chief title, and then you pit Cody against Orton, or maybe even The Rock, who knows. But if we're doing Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, I honestly don't think the title should be involved or needs to be involved.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that should be all about pride and like family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see that Rhodes Orton match. If you drag that out, and I don't know, you know, how long they can hold Randy off from attacking Cody and, you know, getting this feud rolling. But if you had that on the card along with Rock Roman, and, you know, say, you know, Punk was wrestling for the world championship, like if you had Punk Gunther or something like that, you know, you're off to a pretty good start right there for WrestleMania here in Las Vegas. So, you know, plenty of possibilities, but man, I think that would be fun to have Cody and Orton at WrestleMania.
I mean, it would be a marquee match for sure, because the last time they had a match together, they were in very different places in their career. And now that Cody is this top guy and Orton is sort of this elder statesman of WWE, like, he's kind of the resident veteran now. Very few people there have been around as long as Orton. So I think it's a much more intriguing combination now than it was, 10 years ago or whenever they feuded originally.
Yeah. What else are you looking forward to on this card? You know, we have Damian Priest and Gunther. You mentioned that. Bayley, Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Cody and Solo, Logan Paul, LA Knight, which I think is a big match for LA Knight. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, and then the Punk McIntyre match. What's got you excited about this one?
I'm really looking forward to Liv and Rhea. I think they, and even though I'm not a Dominic fan, Dominic has been helping, but like, that story has been great. And I'm really looking forward to the match to see exactly what happens, because this is one that I'm genuinely up in the air about what I want to happen. Like, I don't think they should take the title off Liv yet. I think it would devalue her reign as champion if Rhea just comes back and takes the title right away. But at the same time, Rhea is as red hot as anybody in the company, and having her win that title again would be a great moment. So it's really tough to say, but I'm looking forward to that. And Braun and Sammy are going to go nuts on each other. They're going to try to outdo their last match, and I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Is Braun walking out of there with the Intercontinental title?
Oh yeah, this time he definitely is. I kind of thought it was happening last time, but once Sammy won, I was like, you know what? The guy who beat Gunther shouldn't be able to be beaten easily. So I'm glad he got one win, but you know they want Breakker with that title. You can tell that Breakker is like a pet project for management, and beating a guy like Sami Zayn at a big pay-per-view for the IC title is a really great way to get Braun like pushed up a level.
And of course, we're on the Mark Hoke Show here with Bleacher Report's Chris Doc-Mueller. Very happy to have him back on the show. We missed him terribly because he's awesome. See, you're supposed to say, "Yeah, I am." Come on, Doc, let's go.
I'm a very self-deprecating person.
Okay, I'm trying to build you up here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all good. You mentioned the Priest Gunther match, and I know a lot of people have been kind of not that excited about this match, but you seem pretty high on this one. Tell us why.
Well, I mean, set the build aside and look at the competitors we're dealing with. You have Damian Priest, who's one of the most versatile big men to come along in years. Like, I think people underestimate how much that guy is capable of, because he holds back sometimes, and then he pulls out all the cool tricks during the big matches. And then you have Gunther, who is like one of the most badass men on the planet, and easily one of my top 3 WWE people right now, like across the board. They are going to beat the crap out of each other. Like, it's going to be bloody chests like we saw with Jericho and Suzuki on Dynamite. It's going to be nuts. And I think that out of all the matches on the card, this one and Sammy and Braun are going to be the two most physical. Like, they're going to really beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, it should be fun. And then, the question is, who walks out of that Priest Gunther match with the title? Because you have so many other moving pieces around with Punk, McIntyre, Rollins, and whoever else they want to throw into this thing too. It's a pretty tricky situation in terms of booking where they want to take all this with, really even, there's more people out there, but those 5 guys are all sitting right there in that world championship picture. And, if let's say Priest loses and it's Finn Balor that screws him over, Balor would maybe get back in the picture too. This is a going to be very, shall we say, entertaining to see what they decide to do at SummerSlam with this match.
Yeah, as much as I like Priest, and I think his reign is getting better because it didn't start super strong, I do think Gunther is probably leaving with the title. And based on the little seeds they've been planting, I could totally see it being Finn who costs him the title. Because it does seem like Judgment Day they have an expiration date and it's approaching. And, Finn Damian is the big feud that's going to come out of that, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling Mommy might be beating up Poppy here pretty soon, too. Just a hunch.
Oh, you don't even understand how excited I'm going to be when she decks Dom in the face.
They should have a match. That would be fun.
I mean,
could you imagine that?
WWE is so like iffy with the intergender stuff, right? So like, what's the one intergender match we've had in the last like 10, 15 years. It was a 24/7 title match with Akira Tozawa, right? Like,
yeah,
that's not something WWE cares for. But when you're talking about Rhea, she is just strong and dominant and big enough to beat up a lot of guys on the roster. And Dom's not a big dude. Like, she believably could and would kick the crap out of that guy. So yeah, like I would be all for it. And it would obviously have to end with Rhea just destroying him.
That would be unbelievable. That would be one I could swallow. I could handle that. I remember back when the Jeff Jarrett China thing was going on, and I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. But that matchup, I'd be okay with it. I think I'd be all right with it. I think a lot of people would too. I think Dom would be getting booed out of the building. It would be hilarious. But Dominic, poor Dominic. I said last week he needs to run and hide. And I think that's still my advice to him. Run and hide. So we'll see.
I just need him to cut off that stupid mullet. Like, I'm sorry, you're not Eddie Guerrero. You cannot, it's not the 90s anymore. And we as a society have failed because we have let the mullet come back into style. There are way too many men running around with mullets again. And as somebody who was a kid in the late 80s and early 90s who actually did have a mullet, I did.
I'm so sorry.
All those pictures should be burned, but I loved it at the time. Yeah, I want to see it die a horrible death and never come back.
Well, maybe she can do something versus hair and take care of that.
You know what? Right. Hangman Page is allowed to keep the mullet. Everybody else has to get rid of it. That's the thing. Hangman somehow looks okay with a mullet.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. It's a cowboy thing, I guess. So good for him. All right. Well, we've got to take a break, Doc. And when we come back, we're going to talk about one wild week in AEW, including all this TV stuff and Death Before Dishonor and what's going on with ROH. I mean, just amazing things happened this week on AEW TV. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more with Bleacher Report's Chris Doc-Mueller. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Real Estate Live with the Real Estate Guys, Aaron and Jacob Taylor. We're keeping it real, we're keeping it current, and we're keeping it fun. Las Vegas' #1 real estate show. Catch us every Saturday at 3 p.m. on 101.5.
The Real Estate Guy. Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits.
As you know, summertime is here. And for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with minor aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
Just call 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
Are you shopping for healthcare coverage for a small business? Whether you're renewing a plan or shopping for a new one, the Vegas Chamber Health Plan, backed by Anthem, has many of the advantages usually reserved for a larger organization, like access to care across Nevada at lower cost. Lock in quality healthcare at budget-friendly prices through July 2024. Go to vegaschamber.com/anthem. Brought to you by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Don't let a clogged drain ruin your day.
Oh no!
It's time for Gettle Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Our $80 drain clearing service diagnoses and clears clogs fast. That's GOETTL. Visit Gettle.com today. License number 0079414 0079415.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's bring it back for another round. I'm thirsty. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, the Odyssey app, and of course, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X. Because, we're just amazing like that. And we were joined by Bleacher Report's Chris Doc-Mueller. Very happy to have him back on the show. One of my favorite writers on the entire planet. Thrilled to have him on the air. Doc, so let's get into what's going on in AEW. And I wanted to start with the Ring of Honor situation. And you gave that Death Before Dishonor pay-per-view an A-. You loved it. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I really had a great time with that show. In fact, I've come to the conclusion that that's my favorite ROH pay-per-view since Tony took over.
Wow, that's some big words.
A lot of really great matches.
So here's the question. We're in the middle of this TV negotiation, and we'll get into the what's going on behind that in a little bit. But what do you think AEW needs to do with Ring of Honor? Because I feel like they are really missing out on getting the ROH product out. They are doing some great work down there. I mean, like Athena and, you got Mark Briscoe and so many other guys having outstanding matches, getting it done down there. But, it's stuck on Honor Club, and, you're not getting in pay-per-view, and you're not getting to see this as much as everybody probably should be. What do you do with Ring of Honor?
Well, during the ROH media call, Tony did mention that when he's doing negotiations, he is trying to include ROH in that. So getting ROH on TV is not an impossibility. And I think that would be the first thing, because when you put it behind a paywall, you're really just limiting the reach so much when that's the only thing. Now, if it was on some kind of service that offered AEW and ROH stuff, more people would be subscribing and watching it, of course. With Max being the potential streaming home for AEW, if that goes through, I would love to see ROH on Max as well. And I think it would do wonders for them, just getting more eyes on the product. But the reality is the product will only succeed if they're putting effort into the weekly shows. And for a while, it's felt like the weekly shows have not been a priority. You have a big roster between ROH and AEW. And unfortunately, whenever somebody gets, other than Athena, which I don't know what's going on there, but whenever somebody gets hot in ROH, they're moved to AEW, and, we end up getting a lot less cohesion in Ring of Honor. So I think getting them on TV or on a better streaming service is really the key. And then actually putting some effort into the ROH roster and making more people just dedicated ROH talents that don't jump ship between the two companies. Like Maximum Male Models, MXM Collection, whatever we're calling them now, even though they did just appear on Collision, my understanding is that they were hired more for Ring of Honor than AEW. And getting more talents like that are just going to be in Ring of Honor, that if people like them, their only place to see them is Ring of Honor. Like, that's what's going to incentivize fans.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot, and I do think that the Max situation, getting that in that contract, and I know Tony's pushing for it, and I'm sure it's going to happen, but getting Max involved in this would be not only key for Ring of Honor, but AEW, and is their next big step. He's got to get that done. He has to, to give them that streaming platform to get all the material out there, because you still can't put them in the same class as WWE in terms of everything that they do. But when you're trying to reach that level and do the things that make WWE successful, having a home like that is important. And they don't have any place to put their material, so they need that home. And I also think for the pay-per-views, they need that home, because you're looking at WWE and saying, hey, I've got a $9.99 monthly subscription. Why am I having to pay $50 or $60 for a pay-per-view every couple of months? It doesn't make sense to people. So, and I think that turns people off as well. So these TV negotiations are super important. And are you hearing anything about that? We've seen some interesting stuff go back and forth over the past week or so. But what are you hearing about what's happening with those negotiations?
I mean, even if I knew anything, technically I'm under the Warner Brothers umbrella, so I probably shouldn't say anything.
Good point. That's right. I did forget about that.
Yeah. But I actually, I don't know a lot, but my hope is AEW stays right where it is, because I hate to say it, but now that the NBA is gone, it's going to be better for AEW because they're not going to be preempted as much. And I want them to get everything on Max. And with Max doing a lot more live sports and focusing on, diversifying their content or whatever buzzwords you want to use, it's going to be a good addition to the roster to have AEW and potentially ROH stuff on there. I think a lot of fans would be thrilled to be able to go back and watch every episode of Dynamite. Well, maybe not every episode, that would take a while, but go back and watch some of those old matches that AEW hasn't put up on YouTube in full, or you don't want to go pirate somewhere,
Yeah. So this is going to be pretty exciting. We'll see when Tony and I'm sure Warner Brothers get this done, but it's coming. I think it's just a matter of time at this point. And now, in terms of stuff that happened in the ring, blood and guts. And I overall enjoyed this match. And I think you wrote this isn't everybody's cup of tea. But your overall thoughts, now we've had a few days to digest this thing a little bit. What do you think about this blood and guts match, and in general, the concept, now that we've gone through it a few times?
I mean, the concept is really just AEW War Games, right? It's 2 rings, people come out at different intervals, big cage. It's something we've been seeing for decades, really. AEW just guarantees there's going to be blood in there because it's sort of AEW's thing. I think it's a fun stipulation. I think every blood and guts match we've gotten has been good or great. This past one, I thought, definitely wasn't the best one, but I still had fun with it.
Did you like the ending? Because I know some people have been saying the ending kind of, it tailed off the way they did it. I mean, it was exciting. Are we going to set this guy on fire or not? But at the same time, it was kind of like, some people said it was a little anticlimactic. Did you like how it finished up?
It's tough. I'm not even 100% sure if I've decided if I like it yet, because it was kind of a unique way to end it. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've never seen somebody end a match by threatening to set somebody on fire and their partner giving in for them. But at the same time, we knew Darby wasn't going to set him on fire. It wasn't the same thing as the last spot where they were backstage. They were able to cover Jack and all this stuff that makes it safe. This was in the ring in front of everybody. We're not going to see somebody get murdered.
Right.
So, but like predictability in pro wrestling are kind of, it just, a lot of it's predictable. Like we do predictions on Bleacher Report before pay-per-views, and a lot of us end up picking the same people, and we usually end up being right a good majority of the time. So I think as far as making a moment, it worked, but no, it was not my favorite ending, but I didn't hate it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's a common sentiment on it. So that's what I was kind of thinking too. I'm like, he's not going to do it.
I mean, my initial
still...
thought was the ending was going to be Swerve and Hangman, either Swerve pinning Hangman or Hangman pinning Swerve. So the fact that they went in a different direction, I am happy, because I'm always kind of happy whenever they could surprise me a little bit,
Yeah. And we did get on Battle of the Belts, we actually got a title change, or at least a new champion, which we haven't seen in a while. How cool was that? What did you think of them putting together Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs to win those 6-man titles? Because I think that's what those 6-man titles should be all about. It's either you have a stable that takes those, or you put together a super team. And getting the Von Erichs and Dustin together, to me, was just fantastic. I mean, I've been such a Von Erich fan since I was a little kid, and well, not little, but 12 or 13 years old. So seeing that pairing win those titles, to me, I think it was really special, and I think it was a great moment for AEW and Ring of Honor.
I had a lot of fun with that. I thought it was cool to see Kevin out there too, share that moment with his sons. And Dustin is one of those guys that, like, if you don't respect Dustin Rhodes, like, what are you doing? Like, that guy has not only been a great talent for a long time, but the things he's overcome in his personal life and been able to somehow get back to being like better than he used to be. Like, he's better now than he was when he was a young man. Like, usually when somebody is 60, they're not wrestling better than they were when they were 30.
Right.
So, like, the fact that he's capable of doing that is just wild to me. And seeing him hold a title at this stage in his career is awesome. That being said, the fact that we even have the ROH 6-man titles again is weird to me. I thought the trios and the 6-man titles were merged. The Bang Bang Gang was just carrying around a lot of belts because more belts looks cooler. But I didn't think we were going to have an ROH 6-man division anymore. And then when they stripped the titles, there wasn't a whole lot of clarity as to, like, oh, we're splitting them and we're going to make the trios and ROH 6-man 2 different matches, so we have 2 different sets of champions now. Like, there wasn't enough explanation of that. So when they did the ROH, I was like, wait, we're doing the ROH 6-man titles? What's going on here? Like, it threw me off a little bit. And ROH doesn't have a good dedicated trios division. It's like, who do you have? The premier athletes? That's it. So it's cool, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to lead to much. Like, it's going to be they're going to have a couple of fun matches. They'll eventually drop the titles to somebody, and then we'll get a Von Erich tag team run in ROH or AEW at some point.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Well said, sir. And now we're getting ready for All In too, and the card is starting to stack up. This is going to be a terrific time out at Wembley for sure. I want to talk about that main event with you first, just a little bit. Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson. Now we're seeing Jeff Jarrett even get involved in this thing a little bit. Which, I think everybody, if you'd have said Jeff Jarrett's going to get involved in this match 6 months ago, you'd have been cringing. But he's actually doing great work right now that people are really enjoying. This match, I am so torn on who I want to win. I had said a while ago that I think Bryan should be the one to walk out of All In with the title, but Swerve just keeps changing my mind, and I don't know how to feel about this. Who do you think walks out of this match? I mean, it may not even be settled. Hangman could be getting involved in this too. So what do you think about the main event at All In?
It's going to be an amazing match. I don't think Bryan should win the title because I need Swerve's reign to have a good lengthy run, be a healthy reign, because he has worked so hard for so long for this, and seeing him finally achieve that success has been awesome. Having him only hold the title for a handful of months before dropping it would feel like a mistake after he became the hottest thing in AEW before winning it. I don't think they've done a great job during the entire title reign of making him feel as important as he should be, but it's getting better. So I think Hangman causing some kind of thing like, I want to be the title to take it from Swerve, so I'm going to cost Bryan the match, like that makes sense to me.
That's an interesting possibility. Yeah, this and Hangman's doing some of the best work I've ever seen him do too. This is going to be a quality main event with a lot of moving pieces. I can't wait to watch this from Wembley coming up at the end of August. Should be a lot of fun for everybody. And now we got Camille, by the way, in this little mess with Mercedes and Dr. Britt Baker, which is going to be a lot of fun. And boy, did Camille make an impression on everybody right away. Holy cow.
Yeah, that was really cool. I don't know a ton about Camille. I've seen some of her work. She's very impressive. I think giving Mercedes a heater is a great call because she's not going to be wrestling every week. That's just not the deal she signed. So having somebody else, like what Jade used to do with the baddies, like they go out there, they have a match or two with the rival, and then Mercedes faces them. So I think it's a good combination, and Camille is a believable badass. So she's gonna help Mercedes, I think, and Mercedes is gonna help her in return by, rubbing a little of that star power on her.
Yeah, very interesting stuff coming out of this week's shows. So we do have to get a break in here real quick. I'm kind of running a little bit behind here, Doc, but we will come back, wrap up a little bit on All In, and talk a little bit more about what's happening in the world of pro wrestling on a couple other topics when we return. Like, what's up with Jake Cargill and Omos, and what's happening with Bleach Report too. That's kind of important. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show with Chris Doc-Mueller from Bleacher Report right after this.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And when you join My Lowe's Rewards for free, the savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers, plus earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards, just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards and become a member for free today. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Understanding the many things in a mother's life affecting her pregnancy is important. You can help improve the health of all mothers and babies in Nevada by completing a pregnancy risk assessment monitoring system survey about your recent pregnancy. Also known as PRAMS, the survey is from the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The survey asks new moms about their experience before, during, and after pregnancy. Responses are confidential and used to help improve the health of mothers and babies in Nevada. If you receive a PRAMS survey, please share your story. Learn more at nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. That's nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. This message sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's wrap this up here on The Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, Odyssey app, and of course, we are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thanks for being with us. Of course, we have Bleacher Report's Chris Doc-Mueller joining us. Of course, make sure you check out his work. Just, do what I do. Go to, if you're looking for a result for a show, just, type it in and, put in Bleacher Report and bam, there it is. That's how it works. It's great stuff. Of course, I'm sure Doc just says go to bleacherreport.com and get your info, but it's just amazing work. Love it to death. So very happy to have Doc on the show. Doc, rest of this all-in card so far, Tony Storm and Mariah May. This one's shaping up to be wild. MJF and Ospreay and Jack Perry and Darby Allin. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, it's a good lineup building, and man, Tony and Mariah.
Oh.
I am just so excited for that one.
Yeah, and if you didn't see it, Mariah May came out for her match and not only had her Owen Hart belt, but she had the shoe that she busted Tony Storm open with. Nice touch on that. So yeah, those two are gonna have a wild one. I cannot wait for that one to take place. That'll be for the AEW Women's World Championship, and of course MJF and Ospreay. What did you think about that? The 1 hour match, by the way. I didn't forgot to ask you about that.
It was great. I mean, they did an amazing job. I don't know why some people were complaining about it. Like, what are we doing here, people? You complain about AEW pay-per-views being too long, but then you complain when they put a pay-per-view quality match on TV too. Like, can't we just have fun?
Yeah, why is that? I don't understand the hate for AEW. I never get that. We've spoken about it a few times on the show here, that it just is. AEW has helped raise the industry up, and whether you like it or not is a different story. But I don't get why there's just so much venom for AEW sometimes.
I think there's a lot of different factors for different people. Like if you ask 100 people who hate AEW why they hate AEW, you're going to get different responses. You've got the Cornette contingent, all those people who just blindly hate it without watching it, or they watch all of it just so they can pretend to hate it. Then you have the WWE loyalists who look at this as like the Monday Night Wars, even though none of the shows are really competing directly. And then you've got people who simply just don't like the way AEW does things, and that's fair. Not everybody has to like everything. I personally like all of it. Like, I like AEW, I like WWE. I think TNA is doing some great stuff right now. ROH is good. New Japan has some fun stuff going on. CMLL and AEW's relationship has kind of made a lot more people interested in CMLL and put some eyes on some incredible talents. Like, man, the Beast Mortos has really had a couple of great matches here in the past week. That match with Commander was just incredible. I tell everybody to go watch that. That was great. And then the match he had last night was great too. And then you got like the new guy Hologram coming in. He's great. So there's so much to like in pro wrestling right now. The fact that people have time to hate on anything is crazy to me. Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
I agree. Just enjoy it, for God's sake. Have fun. I mean, I don't want to go back to the days where it was just WWE and everything else, and they were on coast mode. You know, this is enjoyable. I like it. I'm excited. It's fun to turn on the TV and actually get to watch good pro wrestling, no matter where you are, and go to the indie cards too. It's because they're even having to push themselves because these guys know there's chances now. So, come on, just relax, everybody, relax.
Man, there has been so much great indie wrestling in recent years. Like, the business as a whole hasn't been this healthy in decades, if ever. And I know people might point to like, oh, the ratings are this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not relevant anymore. There's so many ways to consume content that worrying about the Nielsen ratings is something you should only do if you're a TV executive or you work at AEW. I'm tired of the ratings conversations. It doesn't matter. Everybody needs to shut up about it.
Well, it is interesting you say that because there, as you mentioned, there's so many other different ways to watch now. And I mean, I'm this close to getting rid of my cable because I'm tired of, paying a ridiculous amount of money for it. And that stuff, even if I was, had a Nielsen box or something like that, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be registering. But it's those ratings numbers. It's amazing that everybody gripes about AEW, but then there's still one of the top shows every week for Dynamite every week.
I mean, TV ratings are down across the entire industry. Like,
right.
Cable has been getting cut for a lot of people, YouTube TV and Hulu, all that. Like, I don't know how all that is factored into Nielsen ratings, but I doubt that they're taking that into account very much. But there are people who literally will only watch wrestling highlights on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. And that's perfectly fine. Like, they like consuming that content that way. So, yeah, like, I don't know why some fans feel like, oh, WWE winning the ratings war means I'm winning somehow. Like, no, shut up and just watch the show. Ratings, like, I know that maybe the message board weirdos were doing it back in the day, but I don't remember anybody caring about ratings for WCW and WWE. We were caring about the fact that both companies were throwing everything at the wall to try and put on an exciting product.
Yeah. So, it's an interesting little conflict there for everybody that's doing ratings. Trust me, I deal with that all the time too. So I know all about how the Nielsen ratings work, and it's a little bit of a flawed system too. I'll just put it that way. But what do you guys see at Bleacher Report? I mean, I know you've been there for a while, but what's it been like for your reach? Have you been seeing a major uptick the last year or two, or what's going on over there?
I mean, we're a pretty big sports site, so it fluctuates just like it does with anything. But I do know that my the two things I did for night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania, it set some kind of record for Bleacher Report. I don't remember if it was like page views or whatever it was, but like we're getting great traffic off of pro wrestling, and we're one of the few like kind of safe sections on the website. Like, we don't have an off season, so we don't have a slow period. And we have a team of writers that's been consistent for years. Like, you look at a lot of websites and you'll notice turnover. you'll like, oh, who's this new writer that I've never heard of, and where did this guy go? We've had the same lineup of people for several years, and we've only added, like, the last time we added somebody was Phil Lindsay, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So I like that, because people who've been reading us for years know that they're going to get that consistency with us, and I think that has helped us maintain our readership.
So where can everybody find you? Because we're just about out of time here. So give them the rundown on where they can catch your work and find you on social media.
Well, all my work is on Bleacher Report. Occasionally I'll pop up on podcasts and stuff, but I don't have my own because I'm lazy. And then you can find me on Twitter at BR. That's the absolute truth, man. You can find me on Twitter at BR_doctor, where I'm, half the time I'm tweeting about wrestling and half the time I'm posting like food pictures to piss people off.
Nice. Well, that's okay too. I like food pictures. Oh man, Doc. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on the show again. It is always a pleasure to have you on, and keep up the great work over at Bleacher Report. We certainly appreciate it, and I will speak to you again soon, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. It was fun.
Yep, you got it. And that's going to do it for us here on the Mark Hoke Show. We will see you next week, and our anniversary show, 3rd year, and of course, wrapping up SummerSlam. Oh man, it's going to be an unbelievable night Saturday. Brace yourselves for that, and we'll have all the news for you coming out of there on Sunday. Thanks for everybody. Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That's what we need at The Mark Hoke Show. We'll see you next week on KDAWN, the Odyssey app. Have a great day, Las Vegas. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.